there I am. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Since this is my third time in Thailand and my second time in Koh Samui, and since this is the very first time we actually rented a car to help us get around the island better and cheaper, I wanted to put together this clip, this montage, to show you exactly how crazy it is to drive around Koh Samui. And I also want to give you like little tips from my own experience to make this journey and this transition a little bit easier for you guys if you're thinking of renting a car for the first time. So before we go into the B-roll, I want to tell you a few things. Number one, the main thing that I would advise doing is get a car, rent a car from the airport. One, I think is a lot safer and not much of a chance that you would get scammed at the airport. And two, is a lot easier because you just land, you're tired after a long travel, you just jump in your car and you drive to the hotel yourself. So those are the two main benefits of actually renting a car from the airport. Number two would be you do need an international driving permit. For instance, in England, where I'm from, you can just go to a post office, any post office, you complete a form, you go there with your driving license and your passport, and you pay, I think it was like £6. Oh, and some photos. So you go there with the photos, your driving license and passport, and you pay £6 and complete a form, and you'll have it in like 10 minutes. So it's really not a big deal. You need the international driving license, your passport, and your actual driving license in order to rent a car here. Also, what I noticed is when you rent a car at the airport, you need a credit card. They do ask for a credit card to put £200 deposit that you will get back at the end of the holiday when you take the car back. Okay, so once you're here, you do that and you pay the deposit, whatever, like they hold that amount. They go to the car with you and they have like a sheet of paper that they take, like they basically take how the car was looking before they actually gave it to you. So any dents, any scratches that the car already had before they hand it to you, they will like mark on a piece of paper. And for instance, my advice would be just take a picture of the car yourself anyway. What happened to us is the car has a dent that we didn't notice that he marked on a piece of paper, and we took a picture of it and we're gonna show it. So basically on the iPhone, when you take pictures, it will show the date as well. The £200 deposit is basically what you would have to pay in a situation when you get into an accident. So when you get into an accident, the only thing that you would be paying, no matter whose fault it is the £200. Number three of my tips would be very, very, very aware. It will feel a bit like a hazard perception test on steroids. There are absolutely no rules on the streets. The bikes will overtake you left or right, they will turn, no one gives way, no one waits for anybody. Pedestrians crossing without any problems, because the problem is, even though there are like crossings, no one actually uses this. No one actually crosses and the cars actually stop for them. So yeah, be careful, pedestrians crossing everywhere and bikes turning from every direction and tuk-tuks. Basically the car that we got is quite weak. I think it's a 1.2 engine, which is quite weak. I mean, it struggles up the hill like a smallish hill. So you won't be able to go anywhere too crazy up in the wilderness with it. But it's good for getting you around. The tip number four would be you can park pretty much anywhere. So I can only speak for Koh Samui because that's where we are. But if you go to Chaweng, the parkings that we use are either the mall or just by the lake on the streets. You probably can park anywhere on the street, anywhere where you can find a space, you can park there. But we found that parking at the mall would be like, it's very convenient, except I think the mall and the car park shuts at 11. Even if you do end up staying after 11, probably like, I think it was about 1 a.m. when we came out at the movies. We went to see It too. By the way, you have to see It too. It was terrifying, which doesn't sound like a good tip to go watch something, but it was cool. So we came out at like 1 a.m. and even though there was the car park was shut and there were like guards there, when we came out, the guard there told us that we can either leave the car overnight there and come and get it in the morning, which we did not want to do, or just take it out then and then just like they just like open the barrier for you. Also, when you go into park at the mall, I think Central Festival, when you go and park there, you need to have some sort of photo ID with you because they will ask for it at the entrance. I think there is free of charge for tourists, so you do need a photo ID with you when we go in there. So it doesn't matter if the driver has it or the passenger has it. You just need one with you. There are options to park by the beach. Like for instance, today we went to Chaweng Beach and we parked there and we got charged 100 baht when we came back, which is, I don't know the equivalent of that, but it's 100 baht to park there, and we stood there for like quite a few hours. So there are plenty of places to park in Chaweng. Same with Lamai, you can park by the beach, like beach car park. If you're struggling to find car parks, you can always just go on Google or Waze. Like for instance, I use Waze to navigate around, and you can go to Waze and put the location where you want to go, and also see they give you the options of the car parks that are around the area you want to go. Tip number 5, which is actually related to what I was saying, is there are loads of dogs and animals around. Don't freak out too much. Obviously avoid them and be aware of them, but don't freak out too much because they're so used to the traffic. Like they avoid cars, they just like cross the street wherever they want, but they're very used to it, so they're not just gonna run in front of the car. And tip number 7, I would say do not go out and drink and drive. Obviously, that's very, very obvious, you're probably thinking. But you're probably thinking also, oh, I can go out, I can have like a little bit of alcohol because, you know, just up to the limit that you're allowed. And then you can come back and drive it, no problem. I wouldn't advise doing that because I'm not entirely sure what the limit is. But you have to Google, because in this country, the limit of alcohol that you're allowed to have in your system before you're driving is a lot lower than the European countries. Plus, I'm thinking, even if I have like a little bit of alcohol and I'm driving and like, I don't know, some bike just randomly comes into you or something happens, you will be to blame, guaranteed. Because you are, 1, you're a foreigner, and 2, you have alcohol in your system. It doesn't matter how much it is. Tip number 8, if you're opting for a car without a GPS because you're thinking you have your phone and you don't need any, that's perfectly fine. Just know that the cars don't come with a phone holder or a GPS holder. You might think that's obvious, but I was expecting to have something there. It's probably because I'm so used to having one. So if you're opting for a car without GPS, make sure to bring a phone holder with you from home. I think that's all my tips. There's probably more, but I mean, to be fair, even if I just show you how it's around, it will still probably help you get an idea of what it's like. So I think that's about it now, and without further ado, let's get into the B-roll.